The Jolting Metaverse.
Hello and welcome. The Jolting Metaverse. What is jolting? It is the increasing rate of acceleration when something bursts into your field of view, into your cognition, so fast that you haven't even been aware of it a moment before. So as something as unexpected like this happens, how can we support it? That is what I am going to talk about to you today. My name is David Orban, and I am the managing advisor of Beyound Enterprizes. We provide strategic advisory and technical leadership to projects all over the world. I have had, like all of you, my share of experiments, some of them successful, some of them less successful, and with others, the jury being still out. As we are exploring the various ways that we can look at the technologies and their impact in the world, the question becomes really important because these technologies are becoming extremely powerful. Can we align AIs with the scaling of the new platforms that we are building? And the answer from a formal point of view is we don't know, but we have to find it out. It is one of the most important open questions in the world today. In the past, participation required physical presence. When you vote in a political election, or when you vote as a shareholder or as a director in a corporation. That was the way that we expressed our participation and decided to assign resources to tackle problems. Today, too many people don't realize that we are doing similarly in the online platforms every time we like a Facebook post, every time we dislike a YouTube video, or we retweet something. We are programming algorithms in order to help us understand and interpret the world in a feedback loop that is developing, accelerating, and jolting. But the question then is, how will these platforms healthily develop? For many people, it is clear that the balance today is too much on the side of the technology platforms, and the ownership of the data and the ownership of the decisions based on the data have to be rebalanced towards participants and communities. Now, if you look at the current level of debate around the participation in online platforms, too much time is dedicated in understanding how to combat and possibly eliminate bots. My contention is that not only this is a losing battle, but the whole conversations has to be completely reversed. We have to welcome bots in online platforms. We have to develop platforms where bots can have a healthy and even necessary role. We will be able to experiment with platforms where decentralization is the norm, where human and non-human participants are contributing to the value of the platform in a balanced manner. Now, one of the reasons why this actually matters is because the number of non-human participants on internet platforms, 2.0, Web3, Metaverse, doesn't matter, is increasing rapidly. It is bound to eclipse human players, human participants. And as their power is also increasing, their ability to drive conversations, to make decisions, to reason about how to influence us at the end, we have to wonder what is the end result. There is a website for these questions called Metaculus. And experts participate in order to predict the outcomes of these questions. For example, the availability of strong AI was predicted by several hundred experts answering this question to be far out in the future, decades, maybe even 100 years in the future. But then it started to converge around the 2040s, except that about a month ago, the time prediction collapsed. And now it is hovering around 2029, when powerful AIs are going to be participating on a potentially equal footing with humans in online platforms. The reason why this sudden collapse in the predictions around a year that is much earlier than before is the announcement by Google of a recent model, a neural network trained to perform without being retrained again over 600 different tasks, as different as answering questions, solving mathematical problems, but also moving robotic arms, drawing images, interpreting videos, and so on. So when you go from a few dozen tasks maybe, or just a single task, to several hundred, and then you go from several hundred very soon to thousands or millions of tasks, that is when we really have to work together in order to find a role for these powerful new participants in our world and to try to answer the question whether their goals can be aligned with ours. So as the metaverse develops with Web3 platforms, creating DAOs that can allow us to address really the greatest challenges of humanity, where we know the current structures are insufficient, nation states and corporations have not been able to address climate change, pandemics, disarmament, poverty, income and wealth inequality. We know that the challenge is such that we cannot go to address it and solve it alone. So I invite you and welcome you to join this conversation, which is of existential importance for all of us. Thank you very much.